Hello and welcome to the show. Now, I am rather a fan of the slightly crazier racing vehicles, and certainly the likes of the Ram Runner here does fit that category. Actually had some really close racing when we took the circuit racing on Forza 6. Today it is going to be heading to an area that is a little bit more comfortable with, as I'm going to, I say, make a rally car out of it, make a more rally truck out of it. And it does actually stand a good chance of doing well. After all, the Lamborghini LM002 still sits in second place on our leaderboard. So, yeah, there is potential for the Ram Runner to go quite quick. We're going to start off with getting the off-road compound tyres and getting some nice, lovely, large tyres on this vehicle. Of course, weight is going to be one of the big drawbacks on this. It's almost £6,000 to begin with, and while weight reduction is going to help us a bit, it is not probably going to be enough. Let's see what we get it down to. £4,700 is about a similar weight to the Lamborghini. If I am honest, we can't actually do anything with the aero. We can't have Forza Aero on the vehicle. That could be problematic, possibly. Engine swap, while, you know, the standard engine is all well and good, we're not going to get the power out of it. We're just not going to get the power out of it for the truck to be competitive. So we have various options in terms of engine: 6.2 litre V8, 8.4 litre V10, or the 6.5 litre V12. Now, for this one, I am thinking we're going to go with the Viper engine. Makes sense to put a Viper engine in a Ram, although if this can't quite get enough power, I mean, it's going to get about 1,000 plus horsepower anyway, to get it to top of S1 class. We can always go for the V12 with twin turbos. We are getting almost halfway through S1 class. I'm hoping this will actually make the PI. I'm hoping it'll get to the top of S1 class. I think it will have enough power to do it. The control, of course, is going to be the scary part, really, whether it's actually going to have anything in the way of handling. I've thought that about a few vehicles, though, in this series, and so far they have all surprised me. So it might not be too awful. We are now not, I know we're not jumping up massively. Of course, there are a couple of bits in particular that will add huge power on, and that would be the turbos and the camshafts, and it's going to be close. It could be very close, actually, to the top of S1, I think, by the time that we have done all of these bits and pieces. That's not quite going to do it, is it? Bugger. We are so tantalisingly awfully close, but it's just going to be a few horsepower short of making it, and there's nothing else I can... I have done all of this as well. There's nothing else I can put in it to make up the power. Well, we're going to have to go for the V12 in this one, I'm afraid. This is going to have that little bit more power, sort of as a possibility, although this might actually have awkward PI for parts as well. Can we... I think we have to go for turbos, aren't we, up to there? Then that only does give us 1 PI to work with on the truck. It's still going to be 16 horsepower, though. 1,244 horsepower with this engine. 900 torque, very, very similar power figures to the Lamborghini, in fact, very similar in many ways to the LM002. Question is, will it be able to carry the quarter speed that the Lamborghini did, and could it really challenge the Ford at the top of the table? Of course, it is off to the Reservoir Trail with our Ram Runner. It is going to get 3 runs through the course in an attempt to go faster than the Ford Falcon. Our current leader, 230.9, is the time to beat. The Lamborghini at 231.2, also very, very close. Potentially we could see this in the mix. I don't really know. I wasn't never expecting the Lamborghini to go as fast as it did, so I don't really know what we might see from the Ram as we come up towards turn 1. How quick can we be through here? Pretty fast. Don't think it's going to be quite flat out through there. However, it can be pretty damn fast. Oh god, the understeer. Right. This is handling a little bit more like I would expect a big truck to That just did not want to get the front end turned. Also, I don't know where we want to go on the brakes, because the brakes aren't fantastic in this. And that's not surprising, you know. This is an incredibly heavy vehicle travelling at very, very high speeds. That is a lot of momentum that the brakes have got to try and quell as we come into some of the bigger braking zones. Thankfully, there are only a couple of places where we have a particularly heavy braking zone. Now, these bumps here are a little bit on the nasty side. We can be flat out, though, through that section. As we crest the next jump, we can be flat out down there as well. I think, although you're really going to have to get the line absolutely spot on. Now, how do we do? Jumping up here. Oh, it's a big flight time from the Ram. Not quite as neat on the landing, though, as we saw perhaps from the RX-7. Oh, got that corner all wrong. Oopsie. I kind of took a couple of bites getting turned in, and by the time we did actually get it turned in, I was, yeah, too late. That was poor error by me. No problem with the water, though. That breeze, I didn't even notice the water was there. That breezed up to the 111 mile an hour mark. But, yeah, end up in the trees. Never a good thing. I don't think we quite have the grip in this that we did in the Lamborghini. It's not, you know, it's not terrible to drive. It's perhaps far grippier than you would expect from a giant truck to be. Oh, that's not a good takeoff angle. I was busy faffing about with gears and did not get my vehicle turned correctly for that. I'm sure we can just sort of punch. Yeah, we probably don't have to worry about going out wide for that. We can just punch through that section. Now, how do we fare down this back straight? We're going to get bounced there a little bit and end up out wide through that part, and there's a tree on that bit as well. Okay. It doesn't feel as good to drive as the Lamborghini did. I think there can still certainly be a fair amount of time made up in this. It is flying across those jumps nicely, so we can really attack the jumps once the vehicle's lined up, but we can't be too aggressive on the way to that section. Well, there we are across the line. A very, very, very scruffy opening run from the Ram Runner. It's still actually quicker than the Quattro made it down the course. However, yeah, there is some mistakes to cut out and some time to be found. So it is on to the second run with our Ram Runner, and we've really got to keep it out of the trees. We've really got to make sure that we keep the truck out of the trees. This, unlike the Lamborghini never felt like a big, heavy vehicle. This does. This does feel like a big, heavy truck, and at times perhaps a little bit wallowy through. Certainly on the tarmac corner, a little bit wallowy. Once we get on the dirt, it is a bit better. Neatly enough, I can speak honestly, through the tarmac corners there. We're going to get on the brakes nice and early. I say nice and early, and we still struggle to pull the vehicle up in time, although there is, you are going very, very quick in these braking zones when you have this much power, and it is being put down to the road quite well. That's kind of the giveaway there, comparing this to the Lamborghini. Just can't get the front end turn. See, where you can get on the power with the Lamborghini, it doesn't feel like you can anywhere near as much with this. Very long gear ratios in the truck. Yeah, you just don't have the same grip in this. The front end just isn't getting turned. It's stable enough. That's not a problem. You know, we're not having twitchy moments. We're not having twitchy oversteer moments, which is always good for me. But we just simply do not have the grip to get the front end turned for the corners. Now, where we are going to make up time, cutting through the water, it is strong. I don't know how strong it is across the jumps in comparison to other vehicles. It seems pretty solid. You know, it's a racing truck, you would expect it to be, and it isn't, unlike we have seen from a couple of cars, it isn't losing as much time with awkward, bouncy landings. It's not having all of its momentum sucked out immediately when it hits the ground, which is quite helpful. Now, what do we do through this river? I'm kind of... we can't really... we can go through the water. That doesn't lose us time, but we can't actually get the truck turned to go through the water in the way that I was looking at doing that time out. So that's probably not worth. It's probably still worth just sticking to the stay on the outside route. Oh, this is getting very, very quick now down here. Gonna have to have a lift because we are not lined up properly for the first ramp. We are now though, and now we can go to full throttle down here as we are bouncing away. It's a good final section from the Ram Runner. It is up to the last corner. It is looking very, very quick from this truck. It is a 2:31 on its second time down the course. 2:31.7. It's quick. The Lamborghini felt quicker. However, well, it's only half a second faster at the moment. The Ram Runner is certainly very, very fast down this course if you can tame it and keep it all together. Well, it is on to the final run for the Ram Runner. There is certainly potential for this to go to the top of the table. Less than a second is needed to beat the Ford. That might be asking a bit too much of this, but I'm going to give it a damn good go. It's slightly less than surprising in some respects that the Ram is as fast as it is. You know, the Lamborghini set a little bit of a precedent for this. However, the Ram is a very, very different vehicle. The Ram feels like a big heavy truck. The brakes aren't great. The turn-in is feels pretty awful. And in general, it just doesn't feel fast down this course. The RX-7 felt like a much quicker car down this stage. It isn't, though. We've seen the time that the Ram is capable of. It's very, very peculiar. It's very peculiar indeed, the way that this vehicle is making speed. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it feels fast, as long as it is setting quick stage times. That is the important bit. Now, as we cross over the first of the big jumps, certainly it does land the jumps nicely. We're going to flick it through chicane, try and get on the power as quick as possible. Now, one area that it is very noticeably better than just about everything else, the water. The water really doesn't hold any fear for the Ram. We can cut through that with minimum effort. Yes, it is going to be limited to that 111 miles an hour. However, it is going to do 111 miles an hour pretty much guaranteed through all possible puddles. And that's quite nice. That is quite nice around this course as we now fly. Oh, a little bit wonky. Could have done without that. It does bounce a little bit on landings. There's just something to be aware of. I've actually managed to overrun that corner a fraction. But we are now on to the back straight. Can we carry the speed down here? We've already started bouncing, which is a little bit less than ideal again. Oh, we're going to have a lift because I've got to get it turned. I can't be flat out there if we haven't got the truck turned. And again, we're going to be very, very close to the trees. But we made it work as we now head up towards the final corner. We clip the fence on the inside a little bit. Come on, Ram, get turned. It's gonna go fastest. It is going to go fastest. The first vehicle under the 2 minutes 30. In fact, it's a second clear of the Falcon. Oh. It just that didn't feel like a 2:29.8 to me. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel like it's that fast. It is. You know, the Ram Runner is incredible down this course. Just doesn't feel it. I've driven plenty of vehicles that that have gone quicker than they have felt, or that have felt like they're going epically fast and been awfully slow, but none of them have been quite as dramatic as that, I don't think. It is very, very bizarre, but we have a new leader. The Ram Runner will go to the top of the table, further extending the target time, a second clear of the Ford. The Lamborghini will fall to third, but it is very much a large vehicle-centric top of the table here, with two of them in the top three. That's a quick time. That is a very, very quick time. And we're talking 3 seconds faster down here than the Hemi Cuda. 1,200 horsepower does certainly help. The Ram doesn't feel like it can carry the quarter speed in the same way, but it obviously clearly can. So, yeah. There we go. That is going to be it for this video, guys. apparently leaders don't last very long on the rally car builds. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.